Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. I hope you're going to have a great week. We're starting a whole brand new week and a brand new month, April. Well, that means today is April Fool's Day. I don't know if you've gotten tricked yet this morning, or you will later today, but I'm not going to try anything. In fact, I'm going to do something that will not trick you. I want to tell you a truthful thing, and it comes from Hosea, a little prophet in the Old Testament, chapter 10. And it's one verse, but a powerful one at that. It's verse 12. And here's what it says. I said, that's the prophet speaking for God, plant the good seeds of righteousness, and you will harvest a crop of love. Plow up the hard ground of your hearts, for now is the time to seek the Lord, that he may come and shower righteousness upon you. Okay, there are a couple of things in here, a couple of verbs that are command forms, and then there's a consequence to these two. The first one, it says, plant, do something. Don't just wish it, don't just hope it, don't just sit around waiting for somebody else to do it. Get out there, get your hands dirty, get your shovels out, whatever it is, and plant. Put something in a place where it will grow. Now, we think about planting gardens. A lot of people around here plant gardens. Maybe you do. And you plant the garden in anticipation that something good's going to come out of it. If nothing good ever came, you wouldn't bother. I mean, it's a lot of work keeping the weeds out, and watering them if it's not raining, and keeping the other critters around from eating whatever it is you planted. And some people have just really small gardens, and some people have gigantic ones. But all of them are planted with the anticipation and hope and expectation that something good's going to come from it. The same is true with this verse. I'll read it again. Plant the good seeds of righteousness, and you will harvest a crop of love. Now, there are some people, hopefully they're not very many, and hopefully you're not one of them, but there are some people who don't want to have love in their life. They want to have anger rule them and vindictiveness. I'm going to get my way. In fact, I remember telling one person, actually, I told two, that if you want to have a relationship, I do too. But I will not have a relationship based on vindictiveness, anger, and deciding that you're right and someone else is wrong. I'll only have a relationship based on love and grace and forgiveness. Well, they never wrote me back. I, I guess it's pretty clear that that wasn't their intention. But when we sow seeds of anger and hatred, bitterness, and somebody's got to get even for me, and do you know what they did to me, and that kind of a stuff, we won't we won't reap a harvest of love and righteousness. We will reap a harvest of ugly. And I've never known anybody to plant a garden hoping they get ugly out of it. Now, they might get ugly if they don't tend it, but that wasn't their purpose to begin with. And said, then it goes on to say, plow up the hard ground of your hearts. You know, once you get a good soil started, it's easy to dig in it. But when you start out, it's pretty difficult. I remember one time I had my farm and I wanted to plant a garden on this other side of the yard, and it was harder than rock. I mean, it was awful. And when it got real hot, there'd be big cracks in the ground, and you couldn't do anything with it. But I was determined. And in the determination, I had an ally on my side. It was my draft horses, and they produced a lot of good stuff to make a garden grow. So I dump stuff in it and I dig it and turn it over and I dump more stuff and I dump more stuff. Well, after about a year and a half, you could go out there and dig a 12-inch hole in that area with a spoon. It was so rich and useful, and boy, it produced the greatest stuff in the world. So it says, dig up, plow up your hard heart. If you have a hard heart, why don't you get rid of it? It's not getting you anywhere. I mean, truthfully, did you ever know anger to produce anything that was good? Did you ever know the need to get even ever produced any kind of grace and love and happiness? Nah, they just destroy you. So don't let them do that. Plow up that heart and seek the Lord, it says. You got to do something after you plant it. After I got my ground really moist and tender and all of those nutrients in it, it wouldn't have done me much good if I just left it. I had to do something with it. And so I planted and I got some really good stuff. And here it says, plow up your hard ground, for now is the time to seek the Lord. Why? And here comes the consequence, that he may come and shower you with righteousness. Now, I know this might sound selfish, and I guess to some degree it probably is. But if you want to know happiness, joy, and a life that's full of excitement, then do what it says here. Plant the good seeds. Dig up the garbage in your heart. I know we're taught not to be selfish, but this isn't a case of me deciding to be selfish. This is a case of God saying, here's the consequences of these behaviors. Righteousness showered upon me. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like pretty good news to me. And here on April's Fools, when people are trying to trick you, this is no trick. This is about as straightforward as it can be said. Plant the seeds of righteousness, plow up the, the garbage in your heart, and seek the Lord, and then you'll experience this greatness. If you haven't tried it, I'd invite you to do that. If you've tried it and you thought, well, it didn't work, well, try it again. You know, you never know when the right time is going to be there. Maybe you didn't quite have all of the sincerity that you needed. But nevertheless, look at your own heart. Take a look at it really well. See what's there. Well, thanks for listening to me. I hope you have, like I said, a great week. It's going to be fabulous time around here. If you have a need or a concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. Thanks so much for listening. God bless you. I'll be back tomorrow with another encouraging word.